It would appear that bombshell news has just dropped as the affidavits of Chuck Huber and the owner of Kamehacon, Chris Slaytosh, has now been made public, further documenting the events of Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, Chris Sabat, and many others within the grounds of Funimation that further went along to not only slander Vic Mignogna behind the scenes, but also go as far as to make disparaging comments about him, his faith, his infidelity, and many other things, further wanting to prevent Vic Mignogna from having any sort of form of work. As on today's video, we are going to be touching up on the affidavit of Chuck Huber in order to find out further information as to what was said during this affidavit. As once more, before we begin, if you are new to this channel and want to be kept up to date with all things involving Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial, Ron Toye, and many of the news and updates involving the Vic Mignogna case, then be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single upload. Be sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below by giving this video a big thumbs up if you guys do stand with Vic, as well as making sure to check out and subscribe to my main channel over at UnrealNetwork, to where there you guys will be able to find lots of anime and Dragon Ball content that you guys will not get to find on here. And follow me at Twitter at UnrealNetwork to stay connected with me at all times. And if you have anything you would like to share or tag me in involving Vic Mignogna or any of the parties involved in this case, then be sure to go on ahead and follow me at Twitter. Now, to further kick things off, we are going to be taking a look at the affidavit of Chuck Huber, as I do encourage you guys to share this video all over social media, because what you guys are about to hear is absolutely disgusting, in the fact that we had members of this community who Vic thought were his friends talk down about him, disparage anybody else from working with him, and you guys are about to see everything in this part 1 video, as there is so much to discuss involving this affidavit. As the affidavit goes on to state, and I quote, "My name is Chuck Huber and I reside at blank, and I am over the age of 18 years old and competent to make this affidavit. I have personal knowledge of the facts stated in this affidavit, and these facts are true and correct. The facts in this affidavit should not be construed to condone Vic Mignogna's behavior, especially as it relates to his infidelity towards Michelle Speck, which was personally heartbreaking and horrible. I have been an anime voice actor, or VA, since 1998 and have performed over 200 roles. I have attended over 150 anime conventions. I have been a voice actor for Funimation since 1998, and I am intimately familiar with the work environment at Funimation. I am friends with several employees of Funimation and have had direct communication with former CEO Jen Fukunaga, Karen Mika, Justin Cook, and Colleen Klinkenbeard through my years of employment at Funimation. I have been a voice actor for Okatron 5000, a company owned by Chris Sabat, since 2004, and have been an employee of Deep Space Mustache, a film company founded by Chris Sabat during 2012 to 2013. I have been friends with Plankton Victor Mignogna, Vic, for at least 10 years. I have been friends with the defendants Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial for at least 10 years. I know Ron Toye from his relationship with Monica Rial. The first I heard of Vic's name was at a convention in 2003 or 2004 with Chris Sabat. This occurred while I was recording for a Funimation property at Okatron 5000. In that convention, Chris Sabat verbally disparaged Vic's Christian faith and speculated that Vic was, quote, actually gay, based on the way he dressed. Seriously? Based on the way the guy dressed, you're going to assert the fact that he's homosexual? As it continues, point number 13, in that convention, Chris Sabat stated that Vic was a pedo who liked, quote, little girls. Despite these statements, he did not express concerns about risks to fans, which I thought was odd. So Chris Sabat makes that assertion, but yet at the same time, he doesn't display any concern for fans, right? Quite odd. Point number 14, during this convention, there was no specific mention of Vic committing any harassment, any assault, inappropriate behavior with teenage fans, or that Vic posed a risk to fans at conventions. In approximately 2007, Vic began the practice of autographing artwork depicting anime characters for money at anime conventions. Other voice actors Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial, and Chris Sabat, and other Funimation employees initially described that practice as, quote, stealing from fans, or using fans, or being an a-hole. We all later adopted that same practice and currently follow those practices at conventions. So notice how they demonized Vic for doing that, but then they ultimately went along in doing the exact same thing after seeing Vic do it. Of course, point number 17, This behavior by voice actors including Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial, and Chris Sabat, and other Funimation employees towards Vic's successful business tactics demonstrates long-lasting negative opinions about Vic. In virtually all conventions I had with these voice actors when Vic was not present, disparaging remarks were made about Vic. Typical statements included, and I quote, "He's a prima donna, he's a douche, he's a diva, and his clothes are gay." Plus, comments on his purported infidelity, dislike of his conservative Christian beliefs, and personal attacks of his support of Donald Trump. All of these comments were made at one time or another by Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, Chris Sabat, and others. All of them, however, conceded his ability to do his job. As it continues, in December 2013 at UMACON, I had lunch with Sean Schemmel and Sonny Strait. Sean tried to persuade me to participate in a derogatory video about Vic known as the Vince Mangina VA pedo video. The video was to portray Vic as a pedo. I refused because Vic was my friend, and he was not a pedo. Most of the time, when I had interacted with Sean Schemmel, he attacked Vic for pushing his Christian faith on fans at conventions and for Vic's purported unwarranted promiscuity. Now, of course, it continues. In 2016, I was at Funimation and witnessed a producer at Funimation warn other Funimation employees about Vic's arrival and address Vic negatively with directors at Funimation. In approximately 2016 to 2017, a director employed at Funimation told me that Vic would never get a directing job at Funimation because he was, quote, such a douche. This conversation happened at Funimation. I advised Vic of this conversation, and Vic later told me that he addressed this issue with Justin Cook, a member of Funimation's management. In my opinion, the voice actors and Funimation employees described above were overly preoccupied with disparaging Vic. Over the last decade, I was around Vic, the defendants, and other Funimation employees hundreds of times. Until January 2019, none of them directly accused him of any assault or any harassment in my presence. Until January 2019, negative discussions about Vic Mignogna in my presence were accompanied by laughter but never included concern of any alleged victims or named specific victims. Vic had always been a joke to a certain clique of influential Funimation employees for decades, but never a threat. Vic indicated to me that in 20 years of working at Funimation, he had never been warned of any complaints about his behavior. Vic told me that he had a meeting with a producer at Funimation in approximately 2008, specifically to discuss any issues with his behavior. He stated that there was no mention in this meeting of his having committed assault, harassment, or having behaved in any inappropriate manner at Funimation or any of the conventions. So notice how this entire time, according to Chuck, these people have been slandering him, these people have been talking down about this man for many, many years, and I can relate to this because I had instances where in this fandom, I had lots of big-time creators talk bad about me to other people and further disparage anybody from working with me, and I can definitely relate to that. So of course it continues. He stated that she told him that he was, quote, difficult to work with because he sometimes asked directors to do additional takes when the director was satisfied with his initial take. Number 34, senior Funimation directors have described the work environment at Funimation to me as a, quote, den of poison, nightmare, and even slave factory. My experience at working with Funimation was unpleasant. It was well known that if one falls out of favor with certain people, including Chris Sabat, or if one tries to do anything to change the working conditions, that person will not be rehired as a voice actor. I felt threatened with not being used as a voice actor in subsequent projects if I complained about the work environment. So people were told not to say anything, otherwise you are going to be blacklisted. Do you see how that works here? That works in this fandom as well. If you go out of line, if you step out of line, there are people that are going to blacklist you from doing anything with anybody. But it continues, Funimation posted no employment policies regarding harassment in the workplace or at conventions. Funimation did not provide an employee handbook to me, Vic, Jamie Marchi, or Monica Rial. In the 20 years I worked at Funimation, it was very common for employees, voice actors, writers, producers, directors to hug and kiss each other at the Funimation offices. Explicit comedy was extremely common. Explicit relationships between Funimation employees and voice actors was common. No one was ever disciplined or terminated for this conduct. When Sony acquired a majority interest at Funimation in late 2017, a quote no hugs policy was announced. Funimation employees and voice actors largely ignored this policy at first. The voice actors including Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial and other Funimation employees talked and flirted freely at Funimation on a regular basis, though this did become less common after Sony instituted the no hugs policy. When Dragon Ball Kai was being recorded in 2007, I heard rumors that actresses had been recast at Funimation for refusing explicit behavior advances by Funimation employees. I consider these rumors credible based on my experience at working at Funimation and from direct messages received from a former DBZ cast member. I had also heard the actresses who participated in these acts with Funimation/Ultratron 5000 employees were cast in roles. I consider these rumors credible based on my experience at working at Funimation. Absolutely insane. We are going to be back for part 2 of the affidavit, but this in and of itself goes to show that these people were never friends with Vic to begin with. They've always hated the man for whatever reason, and according to the affidavit, Sean Schemmel never liked Vic for his Christian belief. Why would anyone do that? Who cares what religion you practice? If you're Muslim, if you're Christian, if you're a Buddhist, why does that even matter, right? To Sean, he didn't want Vic to quote, enforce his faith on fans, so he hated him for that? And this is Chuck Huber. This is someone that's been working here for 20 years, so this is somebody who has been within Funimation for 20 years, who has seen Chris and Sean and Monica and Jamie and Vic, for everybody for 20 years. So we can't just dismiss this. You can't dismiss this. And if you're gonna be ignorant enough to sit there and say, well, we ain't got no proof or any of that, you're ignorant, you're stupid, you're a malnourished intellectual pig, and you don't deserve to be on any kind of platform, especially if you're going to try and defend the fact that none of this ever happened. If you're going to call Chuck a liar, then you're absolutely, utterly insane. But we have more, and we're going to show you guys more on the next video. So again, I want to get your thoughts on this. I want to get your thoughts on this because I can eerily enough relate to a lot of the things that Chuck said, especially being blacklisted, being looked down upon, and having to be talked about by other people, to other creators, and keeping them away. I can relate to that, and it's a really messed up feeling. It's a really bad feeling, and it makes you feel less of a person knowing the fact that someone out there is going around trying to ruin you for essentially nothing. And we don't know why. We don't know why Chris or any of these people felt this way towards Vic. I don't know why, because he was a prima donna, because he was a quote a-hole, because he was a douche. So what? People are like that. People are people, but I think, and I strongly disagree with that wolf pack-like mentality to where if someone doesn't like you, everyone has to not like you then. So again, I want to get your feedback down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If, of course, you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, turn on all notifications, guys, slap a big fat like on this video, follow me on Twitter at UnrealNetwork. We have so much more to bring you guys within the next couple of days. It's going to blow your mind, and if you guys thought that was crazy, wait until you see what's next. So again, thank you all so much for your time, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.